From a faraway planet comes the call of having the power. And now we have a very interesting situation with two miniature-based games based on He-Man and the Master of the Universe. One was exclusive to Europe. One was exclusive to the rest of the world by CMON. What I wanted to do was try to take a look at both of these and see who did the better sculpts and who did the better miniatures. This is going to be a little hard because I'm doing this off of screen captures and from prototypes, but I think we're going to get a good idea of the difference of the two games and which one really has the better miniatures, because that's the thing I'm focusing on. So sit back, relax, and this will be a bit of a long one, but I think we can enjoy it. So moving on, let's go to the bad guys. First up, of course, the king of the bad guys, Skeletor. Nice menacing pose, although he's just kind of standing there. He still looks pretty menacing with his cowl over his skull and ready for whatever magical thing he's going to do next. Going over to Archon Studios one, a little bit of a better pose. He's got his fist up in the air, his havoc staff is behind him. I do lean a little more towards this one. I think it's just a better pose. I think it's a better look. It's still menacing. I think the cowl looks a lot more menacing. I would have to give it to Archon Studios on this one. This is a really nice sculpt of Skeletor, and I really enjoy it. Next up is the king of the aquatics. Is aquatics a word? I don't even know. Merman. What I like here, it looks like they added on some water, and it looks like he's just leaping out of the water. The base also reflects this as well. I really like this idea of him leaping out of the water with his odd but, always was fun sword. I've never really understood that sword. But I always thought it was cool. It's one of those accessories from a figure that I really liked but didn't understand. And he's got his classic look. I mean, it's all together there. Moving over to the Archon Studios one, I don't get what's going on right now because it looks like he's jumping out of the water, but there's sticks on his base. So he's not jumping out of the water. He also has a trident. He's just kind of leaping up in the air, and I don't know, that head sculpt, there's something about it I'm not understanding. It doesn't quite look like Merman. I'm not sure what it's supposed to look like. I mean, it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. It's strange. I'm not sure how to quantify it. And then we go to Skeletor's number 2, Beastman. This is another good sculpt from CMON. It's, it looks like the figure, but a little bit more beastliness to him than we are used to from that figure. And, a little bit of cartoon influence, you can tell, but not so much that it could get him in trouble. And he's in a, perfect Beastman pose. Looks like he's getting ready to leap or lunge at somebody. I like it. I really think it's a really good sculpt. And we go over to Archon Studios, and then, they did include the whip, which is nice. That was one of the things Beastman came with his original figure. It was kind of a fun little thing to try to whip your other figures with it. But, again, it is a little awkward the way it's really kind of too thick because Beastman's whip was really thin. And You know, I don't think the pose is quite as dynamic. You know, you're not really sure what the whip is doing. It looks like it might hit himself with the whip, which Beastman probably would do. But, you know, it's not bad, again, but I got to go with CMON on this one. It's just looks better with CMON. Then we get triclops. I don't get the expression on his face here. That's something I'm not catching. This screaming look. They do have the classic sword pretty close. He looks a part of triclops, at least. You know, the all three of the eyes, and ready for combat. I mean, it's a good sculpt, but it's not the best in the world. But the Archon Studios version, of course, has a more subdued pose. He's got his, you know, he doesn't have the gaping mouth. The sword is passable. I mean, it's not the same iconic sword, but it's passable. It's a good sword. And, you know, the shoulder pads work well. I mean, again, he also fits the part. A slight nod to Archon Studios on this one. It's pretty close, though. I mean, they're both decent. I think just because of the screaming face on Triclops, I'm going to go with Archon on this. Then we go to Trapjaw. Now, of course, we get two Trapjaws, and if you back to Kickstarter, you get this one, and you get one where he's got the, I believe it's a classic hook hand. But, yeah, this is, you know, looks like he's mad ready to fight. I mean, his mouth is open, but Trapjaw, it's not quite as bad as when Trapjaw has his jaw open versus Triclops. It's a good figure, a great figure. I like the figure. It looks like he's poised, ready to brace himself to take a shot. So it's a good figure. Archon Studios version, it leans, I don't know, that expression leans a little more to the comedic side of Trapjaw, which isn't a bad thing, but not a great thing. You know, he's kind of running and looks like he's getting ready to take a shot. Doesn't quite look as action-packed as the CMON version. I gotta lean to the CMON version on that one as well. That's just the way it is. I just have to do that. And then finally, for the main box set, we have Evil-Lyn. Evil-Lyn looks great. She's looking like she's getting ready to cast a spell, and which is her thing. And you know, she looks enough. You know, she was almost basically a repainted Tila, except I think the head sculpt was different. But she looks enough like that figure while looking different enough from Tila to really make it work. And the Archon Studios, it's another one I'm gonna, you know, she's pointing her wand, which is a little bigger than it is on the toy on this figure, but it's still passable. They did a little bit of difference with the head sculpt, which is all right. She's looks like she's shouting, which again with her might not be so bad. I'm gonna give this one a tie. I mean, either one of these would be really great to have and really great to paint up. So I think they're about even there.